What's going on, y'all? Young Lee Jr. here. So I'm gonna address my review of the president. He addressed a national, nation emergency, and what he's been. What's the update of the new government shutdown that's been going on maybe over the past 14 days, man? It's probably the longest in U.S. history in this moment, and particularly because he wants funding for the border wall, and he's not going to reopen the government until Congress and the Democrats find a way to actually have a meeting, a 45-minute meeting. He stated in that 9-minute speech in the Oval Office that we can, help ensure the protection of Americans. Now, he had went on these facts and one of these various examples that it was an Air Force veteran who was killed by a illegal immigrant and by a hammer. She was brutally killed. And then we had someone, the legal Americans or legal immigrants. They used to always come to this country and bringing in fentanyl, these various drugs and meth, cocaine, all these things, man. That's just really just detrimental to our society and our nation. And of course, we can go on and on that most of these drugs are experimenting in the labs, and it is known for just implanting into the urban communities as well. It's like an experiment. You got to think about like the Ronald Reaganomics back in 1981 to 1989. These things were actually essential. I mean, then it had a war on crime, but here and there, he stated that we don't have no place for these people to come. I mean, it's too overwhelming. It's gonna be overpopulated, and I'm thinking that he's really working on that agenda for just keeping it a 500 million population. So I mean. At the end of the day, I just think that it looks in at the refugees, the people who really wants to escape from their country because of war, to come here to actually live a better life. It was one of the comment sections I was looking at. This gentleman said he only came in with a pants and a shirt and $2 to his name, and now he worked really hard. He worked 2 or 3 jobs, working as a dishwasher, doing all these various things, coming out, getting educated, and making a great, decent living for himself, so he can use that money to protect his family that it couldn't make it. And so he was trying to do something outside of the world, because at the end of the day, they so memorize and they love the American dream, having a white picket fence, and a nice house and nice cars and 2.5 kids, all these things, man. They feel like it was feasible back then according to their country. But back to their country, but at the same time, man, he was like, it's too many of them here, and then we got to send them back to their country, and that's what makes it very difficult. So he wants to make a statement. He thinks that most of these Democrats and the liberals are not going to help fund what he's trying to do. So right now he's going to shut it down until he gets what he's wanting. So I mean, like I said in my previous videos, it could last a month or it could last a year. I just think that with this, I mean, the wall, some people is supportive. I'm in between it, but I just think that a lot of this money, $5.7 billion, and $7 billion to 20,000 immigrants, man, in this country illegally. I think it does need to be some type of security border, but at the same time, I just think that the government shouldn't be shut down. I mean, we need to at least utilize some of this money to help war hunger, to help the American people, like just veterans, to cure this PTSD. I mean, at the same time, you just withdrew some troops from Syria. Okay, they shouldn't even be down there. I mean, it's like tens of thousands of children that died in Yemen and all these other different countries, man, and it's just growing up hating Americans because you decided to bomb and create the central banking system. So all these things, man, it's going to a mass agenda, and I just think that, of course, the president's not going to address that and say that in front of the people. He's just going to tell us what you want to hear. And I mean, all of this, doing all these mundane things just to shut down the government. I mean, people during tax season won't even get their money at February. I mean, if this continuously to happen, because the IRS employees, they dependent on the government and they're not going to get paid due to the shutdown. Then you got to go into the fact that TSA workers, they thinking about not coming into work. They actually just coming up with excuses to call in because they're not receiving a paycheck due to the government shutdown. So you can see how is systematically and is really hurting people financially. But this is, I think, goes into effect that you have to really always have a background, have a plan, a backup plan just in case these type of things happen. I don't know if these people invest in their 401ks or the stocks, but it is kind of sad, man. You need, a lot of people depend on this paycheck. 73% Americans, 63% Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, man. And our system knows this, and the cost of living is continuously growing. But it's a government shutdown. I mean, I think this is like a nail in the coffin a little bit, man, for a lot of people who's trying to make it come up financially. I just think it's not feasible for just the American people to suffer like this, who actually depends on the government. Like, of course, the food stamps that's gonna be running out, the welfare. I mean, people who's gonna be in a desperate need. They looking like, I don't know, they're gonna start robbing, or the crime is gonna start increasing because they feel like they're in desperate mode, and this is the type of country that we live in. I mean, you got people robbing, killing people on a day-to-day basis, though. But can you imagine, like, don't have access to food or the welfare system or the government assistance? I mean, it's just going to be a really hard thing. And you can really say, individually they need to start their own businesses. Yeah, but a lot of people are not business minded. They really depend to any many reasons, because they don't believe in themselves. They feel like they don't have any connections, all kinds of stuff. I just feel like it's really putting people in a productive place who's trying to make something and accumulate wealth and America into a bad situation due to this government shutdown, because you want to board a wall. I just don't like how he's doing it. How's his approach of actually accomplishing a milestone. So, I mean, at the end of the day, man, I just really think it's putting Americans into a unnecessary place that we don't need to be in. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people are kind of suffering economically because of this, but I don't think you really necessarily need to shut down the government because of this. But I appreciate President Trump actually, addressing and having the guts to talk to us in the Oval Office about this for 9 minutes. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, where the Democrats actually, conceive, where they actually believe in this, and it do what they supposed to do. It's just for the sake of the Americans. But I don't know. It's like a really huge war between the lefts and the rights. But hey, but that's how I feel about the government address with President Trump. You guys tell me what you guys think, man. You can have a discussion on this. You think we should build this wall? You think it's feasible? Do you think it's just nonsense? I want you guys on thoughts on here. Guys, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I love you guys, man. But this is really pretty much how I feel personally about this. That's all I have to say. I'm out. Take care.